You know,
Yo,
well, yeah,
how would you say I manage Gen Z sales reps? Scale of 1 to 10.
I would say 6.5.
Damn. Managing Gen Z sales reps in 2026 is completely different than it was 10 years ago, right? A lot of sales managers are failing because they're trying to lead Gen Z the same way that they were led when they were coming up as salespeople. Gen Z can be some of the best salespeople you've ever managed. Gen Z can become some of the best salespeople you've ever seen, or they can be the biggest headache to have to manage. It all depends on how they're being led. My name's Eric. I make content about sales leadership, training, coaching, development, everything in between in there. Hit the like and subscribe, follow for more, and you'll see me talk about a lot of this stuff. Now, one of the reasons why I felt so compelled to talk about this, I've seen a lot of success having managed Gen Z myself. So, I was able to build and develop a sales team that was the highest performing sales team in my company. I was able, we earned President's Club because of our efforts, and I still have great relationships with those sales reps to this day, even though we're not at the same company anymore. So this isn't really theory for me. This is actually like I've lived this, and I want to help sales managers right now who might be who might be working with Gen Z sales reps, or even people who want to go into sales leadership and know that they're going to have to learn how to manage people that are Gen Zers, so to speak. So I'm gonna dive into it. So one thing about Gen Z is not lazy by default. They're different, and if you understand them, then you're not gonna have a huge issue when it comes to managing them. I have two little brothers. Both of them are Gen Z, if I'm not mistaken. One of them might, and so I kind of have a familiarity with the generation already. But in this video, I want to break down the strengths of Gen Z sales reps. I want to talk about challenges that their sales managers will run into when dealing with them, and how to actually get the most and maximize that sales rep and help develop them to be the best version of themselves. So like I said, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about are the positives, because honestly, there's a lot of positives with working with Gen Z. So number one, they're creative, right? They get a fresh perspective that you might not be used to just because of their youth, their experiences. This is the generation that's come up around TikTok and social media being at its peak, and they have different takes on things that we may not see as millennials, or even if you're a Gen X person. There's a lot that you can learn from their creativity and their energy. Right there, they are a very energetic group, and I think if you're able to kind of tap into that, it is going to help you and that Gen Z sales rep, because they need to be led. They just sometimes they're hard headed. But another really cool thing is that they're a blank slate, so you don't really have to. When I say blank slate, this is what I mean. They don't have they haven't developed any bad habits in the workplace yet. They haven't seen enough from the corporate setting, or whatever industry that you're in, to have any bias or have any type of opinion. And so because they're coming in with a blank slate or a fresh slate, you get a chance to kind of really instill some of your frameworks, your practices, and help kind of guide them through that process. A lot of younger reps, haven't spent 15 years developing. They're naturally good with technology, AI tools, social media, communication platforms, and adapting quickly. Because things change a lot, as in the Gen Z's realm. Something that might be working or something that might be a best practice 1 minute is not the same. I mean, you see that all the time in AI right now. Different models are released from different labs, whether it be in China or here. Different image generation tools, text to speech, different things, right? So Gen Z is at the forefront of what's new, and I think they really gravitate toward those things. And again, that's something that you can use to your advantage. Now, here's the thing that a lot of people overlook. Gen Z, people want they want to understand, and a lot of sales managers, they don't really spend a lot of time helping Gen Z kind of understand the why behind the why. They're not just going to be led just because you are their manager. You have to kind of earn their respect. And the best way to do that is to be transparent as transparent as possible with why you're asking them to do X, Y, and Z, or why something is important, et cetera, et cetera. And honestly, that's no different from when I was, as a millennial, when I was younger. Like, I wanted to know the why. I'm not just going to be led blindly. I think that's for fools. And so me kind of interpreting that for myself, is something that I wanted to make sure when I was a manager leading, Gen Z sales reps, that I kept that in perspective. So, it seems like older generations were more willing to let opportunities come to them or keep their head down and just grind. And Gen Z is, looking to iterate fast. They want to improve quickly. They want to make money quickly. They want to level up quickly. And so, again, that energy, that enthusiasm, it can be very, very helpful. And again, you'll see that. You can see that transpire in a positive way. Now, let's be real about some of the challenges that you might face with Gen Z sales reps. They can be difficult to rein in. Their attention spans are like very short, very, very short. When I was working on in a call center environment with Gen Z sales reps, they're always on their phones. It's almost I'm not gonna say addicted, but they are very attached to the quickness of shorts, whether it's YouTube or Instagram Reels or what's the other one? Instagram Reels, TikTok. You can't forget TikTok. So they love the short form content. A lot of them didn't really grow with like professional role models. So sometimes they genuinely don't know what professionalism is. Discipline. Some of them may not have actually had like a sports background or did ROTC band. Whatever the case may be. Sometimes they don't really understand the importance of those things. People assume that Gen Z is lazy or, they don't follow directions, and that's not necessarily the case. I think you just have to be a little bit more understanding, to be honest, especially in a sales environment. I mean, if you have developed some people that are closing also, and they might be 5 minutes late or, they stayed a little bit later on their lunch or they're just talking to people, you got to understand it's a balance. And you need to keep them in the best headspace possible to be able to produce. And so I'll be more lenient in some areas if there's a Gen Z rep that's producing, just because I know if I allow them to talk, this thing out or, have that extra 5 minutes to the, on their lunch break, that they'll come back and then they'll be in a better headspace to kill it as opposed to me coming down on them for 5 minutes. So, and that's something I think older managers or managers not used to working with Gen Z reps, they come from the mindset that I tell you to do something, you do it. And it's like, I'm not your parent, so I'm not going to take that stance. But at the same time, I'm going to hold you accountable, especially if there's a pattern and you're not producing, because this could be the reason you're not producing. So yeah, I think Gen Z, it's not a knock to them. I think they are in that youthful stage where they're dreamers, where they're looking for, or they're seeing all the things that they want. It's readily available to them visually, but attaining it is the difficult part. And they dream of freedom, travel, having all the money. They dream of getting that big house or whatever the case may be. And if your leadership style is like, I told you so, or you need to like pay your dues, do this, no, Gen Z is going to figure out a way to do it at a much faster rate, maybe better than how it's being done. And they'll come back and try to flex on you. So, again, man, Gen Z has to respect you. They're not just gonna say, they're just not gonna be led just because you're there. You're paid by the whatever company. You gotta earn their respect, and I think that's the truth with any younger person when an older person is trying to tell them what to do. So you can't fake it. You have to be authentic. So, like, for example, I have a rep or had a rep, my guy Michael. When he came to my team, one of the first things I bonded with him over was shoe. He wore some like all black Nike Vapor Maxes, the ones with the soles is like real squiggly. I'll probably like post a picture of it or something. And I like those shoes. I always thought about it. And he was real quiet until I mentioned something about his shoes, and then he just opened up, and then he put me onto this song that I'd never heard of before, UK song by Dave and Central C called Sprinter. Song's tough. That's a tough song. I like it. And so after that, you know, me and him got on the best. Him and I got on like really good terms, and he became one of my top reps, especially cross selling one of our products. So, shout out to my guy Mike. So, again, when it comes to Gen Z, you know, they're not going to just be led just because you tell them to do something. You've got to earn their respect. They're going to want to pull your card and see your credentials. They're going to want to make sure that the person that's leading them has done what they're doing or is going to be able to. They got to have trust that you're going to lead them to success. So, if you have trouble reining in Gen Z because of that short attention span or because they don't respect you, then you just got to tap into some of those things that kind of quell that. Find some sort of common ground. Make sure that you can articulate your background and how you would be able to help them, and the rest should take care of itself. Now, I think connecting with Gen Z, like I just talked about with Mike, is going to be the biggest point of emphasis. But I also think helping them achieve their goal is also congruent. If you just tell them to do X, Y, and Z, they might believe you for a while. But, if they're not seeing those results, you're going to, have a lot less credibility with them. So, learn what motivates each of them individually. I have Aiden, for example. Aiden was somebody who gets motivated by being number one. And I remember after his first year, there was a guy who beat him and he just like rubbed his nose in it, right? And so I told Aiden, like, bro, this year we just gotta go hard, bro. We just gotta go hard. We everything that we do from this point on has to be to put them in the ground. Every single thing. And Aiden responded well to that. Aiden became the top rep that year and then followed it up with the top rep and beat our VP's sales record this past selling season. So again, you just have to tap into what that agent or that rep, what motivates them, what drives them. But you're not going to be able to do that if you don't connect with them and understand what their why is and what, how they become motivated. And I think they again, I talked about authenticity, but I think they can also tell who really cares about them, who doesn't. So like, I've called my people. We went out to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. We've hung out outside of work. So, and it's not from I'm doing this so that I can get something out of it. No, I genuinely enjoy hanging out with those guys because I remember what it was like for me coming up, and I didn't really have a leadership figure. I kind of learned everything on my own for the most part. So had I had somebody that can shorten that learning curve, but also I could talk about life with, I think it would have paid off even more for me. And so I just wanted to make sure that I could bring that to the table for the people that I'm, leading or that are coming up behind me. So, and I think if you show that you care about them, then you earn the right to hold them accountable too. Because again, it's easy to just dub somebody because they telling you what to do or they're coming down on you and they don't really like give a F about you, And so what I've learned is if I can connect with you, if I can show you that I really care about you, not just you as a number, but you as a person, and help you see success, help you see how to teach you how to fish, so to speak, and actually show you how to make some money, then I think it turns out way better for me in the long run. So when they are maybe 5 minutes late or their attention span is waning, I can rein them back in because I've earned the right to be able to hold them accountable. Final thing, maybe not say final thing, but another big thing, when you're developing Gen Z sales reps, positive reinforcement goes a long, long way. Long, long way. And so I think because especially with sales. Sales is something that takes you on an emotional roller coaster all the time. When you are able to show them the wins, but also point out, when you're coaching, if you're able to show them what they're doing wrong, but definitely highlight what they did right and encourage them to keep going, or when you're, live listening to something, or if you're out in the field with them after you get out of an appointment or something, there's something that you like that they did, tell them, because that goes a long way. Because like when you're new in sales, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know if you're doing something correctly all the time. So like again, this is stuff that I never got, but I had a rep, Larry. He's been on the channel a few times, and so Larry was somebody who needed to build confidence, and so I knew once I built his confidence up, he would be able to hang with the best people in our office, because he was a very bright kid. He still is a bright kid. So for me, positive reinforcement with him was crucial to his development. I had to make sure that he felt confident about what he was doing all the time, and that engine drove him to do well, and he wanted to do well for me because I had earned the right to do that. So I think when it comes to, putting yourself or building that team up, you have to, continuously do positive reinforcement. Some people like the sandwich method, where they tell you what you did right, then they give you what you needs improvement, and then they sandwich it in with something else that you did right. And that can work, but again, you want to be authentic with Gen Z. And I don't think that they'll respect that all the time, depending on who you're talking to. But I think giving them the highlight of what they could have done better, or how you would have done it differently to get a different outcome, while still giving them the highlight, the high level, what you liked about their process, or what you liked about what happened on the sales call, or whatever the case may be, continue to do that. And if they slip from doing that thing that that gives them that success, hold them accountable. Hey, listen, your intro, this is one of your hallmarks. Don't stop being great at that. Bring that energy. Continue to bring that energy, and you'd be surprised at how far that'll go. You'd be surprised. So, at the end of the day, Gen Z is going to make they're going to make up a big portion of sales teams moving forward, especially as companies lay off other parts of their business. They're going to want to grow, and the thing that grows is increasing revenue. And in order to increase revenue, you have to sometimes increase your sales team. So you're going to see a lot of companies that are going to start hiring for salespeople over the next 18 months to 2 years. And they're going to need people that are equipped to, help coach and develop, sales talent, especially Gen Z sales talent. So if you're someone that is a manager right now, or you're aspiring to be a manager, and you want some help trying to take your career to the next level, or, you want to be able to move up in your company, or, develop some new skills like managing a team outside of just managing your own sales pipeline, reach out to me, man. I'll be more than happy to help you out. I'm gonna have a Calendly link. If you found this video valuable, please hit that like and subscribe. We're gonna keep pumping out content when it comes to sales coaching, development, tech. We're gonna keep pumping out the content. So stay tuned for more. Outside of that, peace. Yo.
What's up, brother?
Question for you. How do you think I did as a manager managing Gen Z?
Not bad at all, actually.
Scale of 1 to 10.
On a scale of 1 to 10, solid 9.
Shit, tight shit. Okay.
I'd say you're very easy to get along with, very easy, and you take criticism very well.
My dog. This job is a babysitting job. I'm not coaching really. I'm just staying on top of them for their shit. I'm really not doing nothing crazy, bro. I'm really not. I'm basically a hub in a machine, so that I make sure that they doing what the fuck they supposed to do. Like, I don't even coach them for real. Like, I coached them. I coached this one dude on Monday or Tuesday. He got a sale. This was his best week after me coaching him. This was his best week. I want to say Monday or Tuesday, I went out with him. He did not get a sale on the appointment that I went with him on. I gave him some coaching. Then I left. Later on, he texted me he got a sale. Great job. Then the next day, he got a sale again. And then he had an appointment this afternoon. He closed another one. So this was his best week since being with the company. He hasn't been here very long, but this is his best week with the company. So
I posted one time that he closed 3 sales.
yeah. Yeah,
That feels a little like bragging.
I mean, yeah, I was hype about it. I was hype about it. I shouted him out in our group chat.
You don't gotta lie about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro. That's come on now. That's my bread and butter. So when I get a chance to flex those muscles, I like it. I like doing it. So yeah, I know you just got back from Orlando. All right, bro. Yo, quick question for you.
What's up?
How do you think I did managing Gen Z sales reps?
I don't know. I think you were. I don't know. That's a weird question. How do I think I did with Gen Z? How you did with Gen Z?
Yes.
I think you did good because you were good at relating to us. I would say. Like you always somehow found a reason to get like me or Larry or Zion or Michael like locked into doing something like because you could relate to us about whatever one of us were trying to do or going through.
So scale of 1 to 10 type shit. How would you say?
Like a really harsh scale.
Bro, bro, 1 to 10. Why do you make it so difficult?
I would say like an 8.
Okay, how is it a loaded question, bro? Okay, background. I'm filming a video about managing Gen Z sales reps.
Oh, well, I think you were really good at relating to people, I guess people my age, and I think you were really good at like painting the picture for the future and getting like people locked into the future and not thinking about like right now, if that makes sense. But where I think you where you lacked is I feel like sometimes you had like less patience because we were like stupid and young.
I was not expecting you to say that.
Bro, I'm telling you now. That shit is real. You asked how I feel. I'm telling you how I feel.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Yo.
Well,
how would you say I manage Gen Z sales reps? Scale of 1 to 10.
I would say like 6.5.
Damn.
You really didn't have to do shit with me.
That's not true.
Besides, like, call me a bitch.
No, I mean, but that's holding you accountable, I guess. Did you know how to sell hips off the rip? Did you know how to sell off the rip?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. What the?
Alright, you have the notes, right? Pull up my first month.
I don't work there no more, brother.
So that's why you got all this free time to call me and stuff.
So 6.5 is the rating you'll give me? Or give my management? You said 6.5?
Yeah.
And how could I have gotten to a 9?
To a 9. It's a tough number to get to.
Yo, you're a tough grader.
I don't know. Be more involved.
How so? How could I have been more involved?
Be more involved, but not like...
Lead me, but like when I want to be led.
No, be more involved, but not like, oh, Dave told me to do this type of ball, you know?
So just like, if it was for me that I'm owning it, like, and just own it.
Yeah.
I could have did that, but at the same time, it really did come from Dave though. So.
No, I know. Like that it comes out of you naturally. Like you
Pause. Whoa.
Pause.
Bro, I'll talk to you later.
Later, brother.
All right. So average score 6.5 plus 8 plus 9, so that's 17, 23.5, 23.5. That's about like a 7.8, almost a 8. So hey, look, I'll take that. That's cool.